Are you looking for a few exercises that's going to take care of 90% of your painful conditions? Well, then this video is for you. As we get older, especially during our 50s and 60s, we start losing flexibility, and thereby we lose our mobility. This can then lead to chronic conditions such as osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, loss of muscle mass, also called sarcopenia, which then leads to bone and joint issues in our necks, shoulders, spine, pelvis, hips, and knees. If you don't know who I am, my name is Marius Visser. I'm a biokineticist at the Namibian Oncology Center, and today I'm going to show you 5 mobility drills that you can do safely in the comfort of your home that's going to help you get rid of 90% of your painful conditions. So before we get started, it might be a good idea to check with your healthcare provider just for him to give you the go-ahead for exercise. Having said that, I know that this video might not be for everybody. This is for people over the age of 50. This could mean that you could be 70, 80, and even 90 years old and be able to do this. But if you can't, I understand that it's not for everybody. And also, if you had a hip replacement, it might be difficult getting into some of these positions. And I would not recommend it unless you are being supervised by somebody that is qualified. But for the rest of you, if you can get down onto the floor and back up off the floor, this is definitely something that you need to do. So let's begin. First thing we're going to be doing is a squat. Not the squat that you think of, but the resting squat. And that means just getting down into a resting, flat-footed squat position and just sitting and pretty much just relaxing. Now, I know there's a lot of you that won't be able to do this. That's why I brought my step box. So this step box, I've made it on its lowest for me for today. But if you have a step box at home or anything that you can sit on, it can even be a chair, strangely enough, but something a little bit lower than a chair would obviously be better. So I started with a step box and I've taken all the blocks out. So we're looking at about a 20 centimeter or 5-inch height. So to show that I'm doing the exact same squat position on the step box in a nice low position, we want to get our heels as far back as we can. Without the heels lifting off the floor, of course, we want to get them as close to the box as we can. And then I don't want your feet to be out too far. I want them out at least or a minimum of 30 degrees. Okay, anything more than that, you're going to lose the stretch in your calves. Then the second thing is I want these knees to get apart from each other. Now, everything that I'm doing today, it might be challenging in the beginning, but the more you do it, of course, after about 4 to 6 or even 12 weeks, you will master these and you're going to feel such a difference. So now I'm sitting and I'm trying to wedge my elbows in between my knees, and at the same time, I'm leaning forward so that I'm placing a little bit more weight onto my feet. So I'm looking at about 60-40. 60% of my body weight is now on my feet, 40% is on the box. At the same time, I am wedging my elbows. This is ideally what you're looking for, is a complete straight arm, palm to palm, in between your knees. But I understand it's difficult, even if you start there. And we sit, and we just take a few deep breaths and breathe out. I don't want you to rush this. This is very important that we get used to this position. If this feels too easy, like I said, flat-footed without a box, and we're good to go. We usually keep this for anything from a minute to even 2 to 3 minutes, as long as you possibly can. What this does is it opens up the ankles, opens up the knees, opens up the hips, and also unloads the lumbar spine. So if you have a little bit of back problems, it's definitely going to help unload that lower back, getting rid of a lot of tension that we carry in our lower backs. The other magic that happens is within the knees, the compression on the knee, that tightness that you feel around your knee joints. We're actually stimulating that synovial fluid in the knee, which is great for lubricating that knees and actually spurring on natural healing. That's very good. As well as the hips, we are getting them to articulate fully, getting into full flexion and external rotation, as well as a bit of internal rotation. So after we've sat like this for a few minutes, we are now going to get down to the floor. And we find ourselves in a 90-90 position like this. We've got my one leg completely in external rotation, and we've got the opposite leg completely in, internal rotation. And then we try and sit as straight up as we can. Now, if this is a challenge for you, it's fine. You can lean over onto your one hand and take a little bit of the pressure off this hip because it's going to pull a lot in the beginning. Because a lot of us lack that internal rotation, which helps us to actually get down into that squat position. So once we've identified the tightness in this hip, I want you to squeeze this bum muscle, and then we're going to rotate that hip. And we're only going to do about 5. I want you to rotate it as much as you can. Breathing out every time. Start slow. That's why I said I don't want anybody that's had a hip replacement to do this without either having gone through a proper 12-week rehabilitation process or at least with some supervision. 4, and last one, and 5. So from this position, we're going to now turn our bodies and see whether we can spot this foot over our shoulder. And to do that, we're going to place our hand slightly behind us, just behind our hip, locking that arm out and putting in some firm pressure through that palm. I'm going to rotate through this hip and then breathe out and rotate my spine and shoulder and just peek over until I can spot just a little bit of my foot. I don't need to see my whole foot, just a small portion of my foot. I can even use this hand to help rotate and down. And we turn, look, you can see my foot, come back. And we only do about 3 or 4 of these. Breathe out and come back. And I'm going to do one more. Breathe out and come back. Now we stay in the same position, except we're going to turn and face that way into what they like to call in yoga a pigeon stretch. Now you can see my knee is pointing straight ahead because that's the best position to get my glute muscle on the right side to pull. And then I want to try and straighten my back leg so that my foot faces down and I can feel a stretch on the hip flexor or the psoas muscle as well coming in. And then I keep my hands straight and I face my chest in the same direction as my knee, and I take a deep breath in and breathe out. So now we're going to spend some time in this position, and we're going to feel this bum muscle or the hip muscles on that side pulling. If you don't feel the pull, it means that your foot is most likely too close to the leg on the inside. I want you to bring it out. Once you've opened up this area here, it's going to feel like you want to fall over, or the opposite's going to happen. It feels like you want to lift your hips off the floor. The hips have to stay on the floor. That is paramount. And then you just move your body towards your foot and your shin, and you go down in that area, and then you will feel, ooh, there's the stretch. Remember, the idea is to stretch the muscle, but also to relax at the same time. I don't want you gringing or gnashing your teeth. I want you to take a deep breath in and breathe out. And just feel your body relax. You'll feel this probably going into the lower back for some of you. Some of you will feel it on the inner thigh, the hamstring. Others will feel it on the glute. You'll feel the back leg stretching. Everything is just opening up at the same time. The idea of these 5 exercises is to not just challenge yourself, but take every joint in your body through its full range of motion at least once a day. And that is the key to hip and lower back health, is getting those joints to move through its full range of motion at least once a day. Now the last bit on this, after we've sat in this position for a minute, is we're going to lie down and we're going to compress ourselves between the floor and our chest, just to give that little bit extra stretch. You'll see I've got both my elbows on the floor. Another deep breath in and breathe out. And last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, I want you to bring your arm out, and you're going to lie on your side. Nice, smooth transition. I call it a flow, flowing from the one movement pattern to the next movement pattern. Now, the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to try and get hold of this leg and try to bring it behind us, tuck it into the floor. Let me just move my box. And then I'm going to take this hand, put it on top of this knee, because I don't want this knee to straighten out. I need you to keep this leg right where it was. So we finished off there, and now we're going to go on our side. This leg stays. I'm grabbing this ankle. I'm pulling it down behind me. I'm tucking my toes into the floor. This hand on top of this knee, and this hand on top of this ankle or foot, depending on how far you can reach. But the most important thing is I need this knee to be behind me. It mustn't be in front of me there. It needs to come behind me so I can feel the stretch all the way up the hip here as well as down on the quad. And then both shoulders down. I'm lying in a relaxed position, even though it feels like this leg wants to snap off, but that's okay. Nice deep breath in and breathe out. Now, I must warn you, this is a very, very intense stretch, especially if it's the first time you're doing this. You can let the foot go a little bit and just, or even bring this leg down a bit, but that's going to take away the intensity of the stretch. And we hold this for 30 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we come up, and then we place both our legs back in the same position. Bottom hand is going to get placed on top of this top leg to stop your hips from moving, and then we're going to go and stretch the thoracic spine by doing a complete rotation until the opposite shoulder and back of the hand and arm is touching the floor, and we come back. Deep breath in and breathe out. Remember to lift the chest and give yourself that little bit of a hollow back so that we stretch the thoracic area or the upper back and not the lower back. Breathe out and just relax and come back. And then we do 10 of these. Breathe in and out and relax. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. And again, in some of my previous videos, you might only come up to that point. That's okay. We stop there as far as you can. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you're just going to feel yourself drop to the floor until you stop again. And then you breathe in and breathe out. And just keep dragging to the floor. Breathe in and breathe out. And before you know it, you are touching the floor. Just check that your shoulder does not do that. Okay, you want to keep that shoulder in. So always aim for a little bit above shoulder height there so that you get a complete stretch on the pec and the chest area in the front. A little bit under the lats, all the way across the obliques into this pelvis here, and as well as in the middle of the spine, that thoracic area. And come back and we get up into this position and we switch over to the other side. Just like we started, we're just flipping everything over. Same position, we're going to move this hip 5 times. We're going to go a little bit faster through this side, and 5. From there, we're going to turn and look at the foot behind you. See if you can see your foot. Breathe in and out. Always opening up this hip. Now, you will find that one of the 2 sides must be tighter than the other side. Spend more time on the side that is more tighter. And one more. There we go. Let's go into our pigeon stretch. So from there, this knee is not too cramped up. It's a little bit out. This knee is pointing straight ahead. I've got both my hands on the floor, arms locked out. Chest is up, pointing that way, and I can feel this glute on my left side is pulling, as well as the front of my thigh. And we hold that position. We take a deep breath in. Always use your breathing to relax. And we lie down on our elbows, compressing that knee between the floor and your chest. And we hold that for another 30 seconds. And then we're going to lie on our sides, and we're going to do our quad stretch. Grabbing the foot, not pulling the ankle too close to the glutes, just holding the foot, but almost just dragging your foot back, tucking it into the floor, and let your toe get stuck into the floor there. And now I'm feeling the stretch on the front of the thigh. And this hand on top of this knee. Some of you, your knee might be in the air like that. That's okay. With time and a little bit of pressure, pushing down onto this knee, and eventually it'll be flat, as well as the stretch on this quad would have improved significantly. And we hold for 10, and we come up and we go straight into our rotations. Hand on top of the top leg, stop the hips from moving, and breathe out. Get that opposite shoulder down onto the ground. Come back, breathe in and out. done. So we come up into our fetal position. We use our top leg as leverage. We come up into that position and back into our 90-90. Now the idea at the end of the day is to get from a 90-90 position into your squat position by just placing your hand on your hip, pressing down, and then getting yourself into your flat-footed squat. And then from your flat-footed squat, we get down into our 90-90. With a little bit of practice, you will get there. Like I said before, you are taking your joints through their full range of motion at least once a day with these 5 exercises. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell me how your exercises are going by leaving a comment down below. See you next time.